Oh man, look how mangled my face is. This boxing thing, I don't know, man. I love it, but not that great at it. The boy can take a hit, though. You know what I mean? Hey, that's a good quality. If you're in a fight, you want a guy that can take a punch. Even if he can't fight back, you know, at least he can keep going. He can run interference for you. They're like, God damn, look at him go. He can't fight for shit, but he just keeps going. That's me, baby. Yes, sir. I'm making this video in response to YouTube member Ancient One. Left a lovely comment. It was very long, and I was going to type out a response, but I thought it would actually be an interesting video. So the comment was generally centered around who I am really. Am I that guy in the videos in real life, or is it all show fluff? And I would say there's, you know, we always embellish a little bit. You know, when we do our lifting videos and we post our best lift, I don't show the rest of the workout. You know, I clip it down to just the lifting portion. So in a way, I am kind of showing my best. But, you know, I also don't mind presenting the failures, the bomb lifts, the times I pin myself. But more to that point, he was saying that when he was first corresponding with me, he was vetting me and talking to other members to see, hey, what's up with this Charlie guy? You know, what's going on with this dude? Is he, you know, what's up? He's got some idiosyncrasies, which I'm going to address here. Now, the first one is centered around the way I look, the way I dress. Like, what's up with the short shorts, my guy? Why do you wear them booty shorts? Well, I am a bit of an exhibitionist, I have to admit. When I got out of the service, I let myself go, and I got up to a really sloppy 350 pounds. And then we went out to dinner one day, a buddy of mine went to a bar, and there were some cute girls sitting behind us. I turned around and smiled at them, and she looked at me with just disgust. Like, ugh, how dare you look at me? And it killed me. Like, it killed me, man. Because I was never, you know, growing up, I'd always been okay with the ladies, and, you know, they always got smiles out of them. Then they got to know me as a person, and it all went to shit. But, you know, the introduction was always pleasant. I never had anyone look at me like, how, oh, God, why are you even looking at me? It really hurt my feelings, man. So that was the beginning of my transformation, where I said, man, you have got to get your shit together. That was the moment where that rocked me. You know what I mean? I used to wear longer shorts. I would wear normal shorts like a normal man. And if you ever looked at my calves, they're about the size of my forearms. I have tiny, wiry, sinewy, like chicken legs. They look like they're made out of steel, but they are tiny. And when I wear shorts to my knees, that's all you can see. So I would get comments from these guys, endless comments. Hey, do you need to train legs? Do you even work your legs out, bro? I had a comment where I was squatting plus 500 pounds, and the guy's telling me I need to do legs. Like, I'm literally doing them in the video. That's how bad it was. So I noticed we went to a powerlifting meet, and they all were wearing these little USPA shorts that reminded me of the Marine Corps Silkies. And I was like, oh, look, you can see everybody's legs. And I bought a pair, and my quads are enormous. And everybody was complimenting me, like, dude, you got some fucking, yeah, bro. So I started rocking those, and ever since I started wearing those little short shorts, no one has ever made a leg comment, because my quads are so huge, they don't even look at the calves. It's funny, man. I look like one of those runners, you know, the sprinters, big, huge, enormous calves and rear end, little tiny chicken legs. Plus, I don't know, I just like them. I don't know what to tell you. It's, yeah. What about the hair and the earrings and the painted nails and all that stuff? You know, I've had people say, well, there's a man in touch with his feminine side. I disagree. I don't think I have a feminine side. As a matter of fact, you know, I actually, you know, I work with a therapist, and she says that I'm overly manly, like I'm compensating, like you need to tone it down. For the longest time, I had a chip on my shoulder. When I was growing up as a kid, I was brutalized. We're talking like beatings, like where I had to go in the hospital. I got like a split in my eyebrow, knocked teeth, and these guys used to chase me home from school every day, and I'd make it to my front yard before they caught me, and there was always at least 3 of them. And I had this thing where you could do anything you want to me, but you will never shut me up. And I had a mouth, and it got me in trouble. But that was the one thing you couldn't take from me. You could be physically stronger than me. You could gang up on me. You could beat me within an inch of my life, but you'll never shut me up. And so I probably took a lot more beatings than I had to because of that. But it was tough, man. I was a little gladiator as a kid, and I had to scrap. I had to really, really fight my way through school. I hated every minute of it. And you know, when I joined the Corps, dude, I was a broken kid. You know, like, I was broken. I had no trust for people. I was they said I was introverted. He just likes to spend time alone. And no, I was not introverted at all. I had social anxiety. I just didn't want to be around people. I didn't want to talk to you. I didn't want to get to know you. I just assumed that if I did, you wanted something from me. Very cynical. Well, you know, over time, you meet people, you camaraderie, you're forced to work together. The Marines saved my life. It really did, because it forced me to be with a diverse bunch of people, and you have no choice but to be a team. You cannot be a loner in the service. Like, they'll beat that out of you. And then I got to, you know, kind of learn, like, hey, that was just that's a situation I had growing up. That's not real life. And I worked through that, and, you know, I got to the point where I really liked being around people, but I still kind of carried that chip on my shoulder. You know what I mean? Like that. You're just not going to shut me up. I'm going to say what I want to say, and I'm going to talk to who I want to talk to, and you're not going to tell me who I can or cannot be friends with. So there's kind of that going on. And even though I've largely gotten rid of that guy, he's still in there. You know, he's chirping at me in the back of my head. So there's some of that. Now, the rest of it, I don't know where it comes from. I don't know if it was because as a kid I was left out of everything, and, you know, I didn't really have parental guidance. I didn't know how to talk to women. You know, I didn't know how to make friends. So I think I overcompensated by, like, turning myself into a little peacock. Like, if nobody's going to notice me just sitting there by myself, I'm going to make them notice me by being audacious, you know, being colorful, being loud. When I walk into a room, everybody's going to know that I'm there. And I don't know if that's healthy or not, but I've carried that through the years. And I've always had this thing where I've been a little bit you know, I wanted to be the one weirdo, the one guy that stood out from the crowd, the one that was just a little bit different. But I wanted to do it in a way where, instead of, like, you know, the crazy weirdo goth kid in the back that looks like one of the insane clown posse, you know, what they call juggalos, people would look at me and go, that's interesting. I like that style. You know what I mean? That's always what I shot for. I shot for, like, being colorful, but being tasteful, like looking cool, you know? And not everybody likes it. I get a lot of criticism, and I get a lot of compliments. So it goes both ways. It's really interesting. Maybe I'm a little bit too obsessed with the way I look. I know my wife says that I take longer to get ready than she does. She kind of compared me to Valentino. Valentino was a guy that was very metrosexual, and he was accused of being gay. There was a reporter that was saying Valentino was gay, and this guy challenged him to a boxing match, and he trained with Jack Dempsey. If you know who Jack Dempsey is. Now, the second point that he asked about was, you know, my kids. He talked about how he got his... Am I really that involved as a father? And I would say, largely, the reason my kids the way they are is because of Mom. Mom has taken the time. These kids they're fully functional in the kitchen. They can cook. They can do all the prep work. And we used to have to watch them because it was dangerous to be around a stove. Now we have to watch them because they might use the last of our ingredients. You know, you have something in the fridge that you want, they'll take it and make dinner out of it, and you get home and it's like gone. You're like, what the hell, man? So that's what you have to watch them for now. But no, my kids can do. I have a video where my daughter's, I woke up one day and I walked out. I was working night shifts, and she was standing on a stool on the stove in her robes, cooking eggs. She cracked them. She got the pan ready. She's flipping them, putting seasoning on them, and she got herself a 3-course meal ready by herself at the age of 7. It was the most adorable thing I'd ever seen. And I was just utterly astounded. I'm like, what am I looking at? So yeah, no, the one thing that my wife and I really stress is the kids' independence. So we try to teach them as much as possible, so that they can do everything by themselves. We do not do anything for my children that they can do for themselves. That's the rule in the house. And part of that is I want to teach them to defend themselves. As little as I know, I want to pass that along to them. But I had such a wretched childhood that I want it to be fun for them. And, I didn't have mom and dad growing up. It's not that I didn't have parents. They just weren't involved in my life. I had to learn everything by myself. And there was a couple years towards the end there where I ran away and I was homeless. I didn't have dad's guidance. Mom was all about, if it wasn't about Jesus, it just wasn't important. So all of my talents, all my skills, that was all seen as superfluous. And I was I never got any encouragement from them. And that will mess a kid up. If you never give your kids any encouragement, it will screw them up. And it will turn them into these needy people like me, with all the problems I have. And I'm not going to do that to my kids. So I want to be involved in their lives. And, it's almost like I'm living a second childhood with them. There's some of that going on, for sure. All those things that I had as a kid that I hated, I want to make sure my kids don't have. And the interesting thing, the irony behind that is accommodating them in that way causes different sets of problems. It's like, because your struggles make you who you are. And we learn the value of things the hard way because we didn't have anything. Well, they have everything they could possibly want, so they haven't learned the value of things. So it's kind of like, oh man, the pendulum swings both ways. All I can say is I'm doing the best I can as a dad, and I'm always going to be there and supporting them no matter what they do. And I want to be involved in their life. I love them. My wife, she was my training partner for years before she got in an accident. What can I tell you about my wife? I am in love with that woman. God, I've got it bad for her. We've been together 13 years. And I find her every bit as hot and attractive, exotically beautiful as the day I met her. When I met her, she was sitting there in that thong bikini, stretched out. You could see every muscle in her back. She had that tan going on. She had a supermodel body. Oh, man, she was smoking. We had kids. She put on a little bit of that baby weight. And I'm telling you right now, she's 45 years old, and she is drop-dead gorgeous. Most women her age have let themselves long go. Oh my God. All my friends in high school. Well, I mean, I shouldn't say that. A lot of people I know have, they've really kind of ballooned up a little bit. And we've always kind of tried to stay in shape. She's always been my training partner. We like to go to the gym together. We like to do a lot of stuff together. It's been a little harder because she got in an accident. She's dealing with some injuries. And what was the other thing? The other point we talked about was my stomach, the bloating issue I have, where I look like I'm pregnant in some of my videos. Some of the physical limitations I've had. The reason I got into powerlifting was because after all the injuries I suffered in the Marines, blowing my knee out, that severe back issue, the one thing I could do was lift weights. I used to play basketball. I was on the division team. Man, I was a defense hawk. I led in steals. I could drain threes from feet behind the line. I still can. I can still drain them pretty good. I've got a few videos where I play basketball in the park, and I was a little rusty, but when I started hitting them, man, and I had a crossover that would break your ankles. Played football, hockey, rollerblade, half pipes. I used to get into skating for a while. I can't do that anymore. But one thing I could do was lift weights. It was low impact. And it largely solved a lot of my medical issues. It fixed my knees. It helped my back. It wasn't until I got super heavy and started lifting like an elite lifter, that's when it became a problem. That's when those injuries started to really manifest themselves, and I had to start really taking care of myself. So, me learning to kickbox is me teaching my body how to work all over again. So that's, largely why I have the issues that I have hitting the bag, and I'm kind of stiff and flat-footed, and I'm getting better. It's getting my mobility back, and I am on a mission to get back to where I was, at least in my late 30s. And I'm getting pretty close, man. I'm putting the work in and I'm getting it back. So we talked about that issue. I talked about like just my attitude in general with the comments that I get online, and how I'm always just like, you know what? I want to be the fun guy, you know, not so serious. I don't take this stuff so serious. So do I ever get butthurt when people leave shitty comments? Yeah, sometimes. Do I ever talk back to people? Yeah, it's happened. Do I ever have a problem with anyone online? Occasionally. But for the most part, no matter how crappy of a comment you leave or how nice one you leave, it's like, it's all good, baby. I want the engagement either way. So, you know, a lot of it was just like, is this guy for real? The last thing he touched on was when he said what did it for him is when he saw my Warhammer figurines, and he's like, oh, this guy's a fucking dork. Dude, you have no idea. I grew up, like, I lived vicariously through comic books. I collected all of them. All of them. I mean all of them. Marvel, DC, Top Cow, Image, all the, all the independent ones. I was a comic book nerd. I collected action figures, you name it, He-Man, Star Wars, Transformers, GoBots. What were those things? Micronauts, God, good Lord. Warhammer. I got introduced to Warhammer, and I went down the rabbit hole. I mean, it's worlds upon worlds of lore, and you could just really get into it. Now, my wife, I was really big into anime, and when she got injured, she started watching anime. She went full otaku weeb, just every obscure anime you've ever seen in your life. She's watched all of them. I challenge you to come up with a weird, except for like the hentai stuff, the weird sex stuff. Like if it's on TV and you know, she's seen it. We went to an anime convention a little over a week ago here in Vegas, and we showed up dressed in jeans and t-shirts. You know, all the kids were dressed up like, you know, Goku, and who picked, you know, you had some from the Avatar, you had Black Clover, all the popular ones. They were all dressed up. Someone from Near Automata. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But we're just in regular clothes. And I'm telling you right now, all those kids were amateurs compared to my wife. She knew all the anime. She was asking about animes they never heard of. And I'm like, is this an anime convention? And my wife, 45 years old, house mom, you're gonna come at her with that stupid costume on, and you haven't even watched how cells work? Come on now, that's amateur hour. Now my wife, Jesus, I watch anime. She is anime. So the point is like underneath our veneer of working father and stay-at-home mom, we are total fucking nerds. I've got Gundam models I need to put together. I've got, of course, all the Warhammer. You know, I have the Transformers collection. I should show you my toy collection. I should do a video and just give you a rundown of all the crap me and my son are into. But, you know, video's getting long here. We're getting on, 19 minutes? Just to say, yeah, I'm who I am in these videos. I'm a fucking dork who's stronger than you and can kick your ass. But I'd rather go play He-Man. Love you guys.